Thank you. Ms. Compton, what will you do to create more affordable housing?
Well, I think there needs to be a balanced approach to affordable housing. There's a difference between affordable housing and workforce housing, which we briefly talked about today. But I think, as we talked about earlier, you need to zone more areas and let builders build economies of scale. When you look at, again, this county, very much of it is not developed. Only 4% is developed or soon to be developed. So we need to open some additional areas up and make it easier for builders to build bigger subdivisions so they can build economies of scale, and that lowers the price. I think that's probably one of the most important things to do. I also look at and have talked to builders that build in the Central Valley, and they build over here too. And the number one thing that they say is our county interprets guidelines so much more stringently over here than they do in the Central Valley. For example, CEQA guidelines. Well, that's not a county guideline. If we interpret it more have more difficulty interpreting here, it makes the builders jump through hoops to have to do things that they don't have to jump through in the Central Valley. So I think interpretation by the planning departments, et cetera, have a big impact on affordability of homes. We're limited with what we can do in this county. We're bordered by an ocean on one side, with mountains on the other side. So there's only a certain geography that we can work in, and I understand that. But homes are expensive because of a lot of government regulations. And when you look at the workforce housing study that the EBC did, the top 4 barriers to affordable housing were all government-controlled barriers. So we have to get those barriers out of the way if we want some more affordable housing. But I don't think it's a one-answer approach. I think it's multi-pronged.
Thank you, Ms. Ray.
I wish I had 60 minutes to answer this question because it's been a platform issue for me and it's really, really important. So I want to say first out, if I run out of time, please talk about it with me afterwards because I'm glad to talk for ad nauseum on this subject. Really, I want to just talk about what my opponent just said because this is critical and it's a critical difference between us, and you're all sitting here today trying to decide which person you're going to vote for. The reason that we interpret CEQA more stringently here in San Luis Obispo County is because we don't want to be the Central Valley. And we don't want this place to look like the Central Valley. And this is, thank you, this is a really critical difference between the two of us. I don't think we need to make it easier for builders to build, but we do have to make it more logical. It's also come up twice by my opponent that we need to zone for affordable housing. Affordable housing is not a zone. Affordable housing is a designation in our inclusionary housing element. So what we have to do is we have to make it so that our inclusionary housing element doesn't preclude developers from giving us that kind of housing. And right now, the way the codes are written, it gets in the way. So I sit on a committee right now that is going through those codes line by line to make them more efficient so we can get more workforce and affordable housing. I hope I am still there next year to continue that work.
Thank you, Ms. Ray.